Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, dear students. Today we will start our new chapter, that is aldehydes and ketone, and we are discuss this chapter in detail from lecture number 1. In today's topic, you will learn about how to name aldehydes and ketones, the relationship between structures and reactivity of carbonyl group, and the third one is the reaction of aldehydes and ketones and their mechanisms. So let's start our topic. Before going to discuss the detail of aldehyde and ketone, first we will see the structure of carbonyl group, and the structure of carbonyl group will be represented by C double bond O group, and either its left and right side, both sides are replaced with any R group, and R group may be an aliphatic group or any aromatic group. If R is totally aliphatic group, then it is known as the aliphatic aldehyde. And if this R group is replaced by any benzene ring or any aromatic group, then it is known as the aromatic carbonyl group. So we will see that organic compound containing the carbonyl functional group are called carbonyl compounds. Both aldehyde and a ketone functional group have common C double bond O group in both of them. So these compounds are known as the carbonyl compounds because the carbon is double bonded with oxygen atom. But the major difference between these compounds, that is the hydrogen atom will exist in case of an aldehyde, but in case of ketone, both side of carbonyl group is replaced by two NER group. So we can say that in case of an aldehyde group, one hydrogen atom should be attached with carbonyl group. So it occur at the end of the chain because this chain will start from this end. So we can say that in case of aldehyde group, one hydrogen atom should be attached with any carbonyl group. So in case of an aldehyde, it can be represented by the general formula where R may be H. It means one of the R group will be an alkyl group, but the other R group will be an H group. So we can say that an aldehyde can be represented by the general formula where R may be H or an alkyl group, but in case of ketonic group, like in this compound, the C double bond O group has two R group. So the carbonyl group is bonded to carbon atom, and so it occur within a chain. A ketone may be represented by the general formula, that is RC double bond OR. Hopefully all of the discussion will be clear among to all of you. So now we will see the sources of aldehydes and ketones. Aldehydes and ketones are present in many naturally occurring compound, and they will form the major composition of carbohydrates because the major sugar of carbohydrates have aldehyde functional group in them. So we can say that the aldehyde group is present in most of the sugar, and they are the principal constituents of a number of essential oils used as fragrances and flavors. While ketonic group is present in camphor, and camphor mean the kapoor which we are use over dead bodies uh, for buried purposes, and menthone, and menthone is another chemical compound which is the type of natural product, and these two compound like camphor and menthone both contain ketonic functional group inside them. Now we will see the nomenclature of aldehyde group. The nomenclature of aldehyde and ketone are discussed one by one, and we will see its common name as well as their IUPAC name. Common names are those names which are discussed in our daily life, but they are not any authenticity. So first we will see the common names of aldehyde. The common names of aldehydes, they are obtained from the common name of the carboxylic acids. In our previous lecture, you will see the detail of carboxylic acids. So we can say that the common names of aldehydes, they are derived from the common names of the carboxylic acid, which contain the same number of carbon atom. And another point which is important in the common name of aldehyde, that is the ending of carboxylic acid, that is IC acid in the common name, is replaced by the word that is aldehyde. For example, in this compound, the common name of this compound is formic acid. If this compound is COOH, then this compound is known as the formic acid. So we can say that the IC acid is replaced by the word of aldehyde. For example, in this compound, it is known as the formaldehyde. In the same way, another compound which contain two carbon atom, and in case of carboxylic acid, the name of this compound is acetic acid. But for aldehydic compound, the name of IC acid should be replaced by the word of aldehyde again, and the final name of this compound is acetaldehyde, and the third one compound has propionaldehyde, and the fourth one of this compound is named as butyraldehyde. So you have seen that the common name of the acid, that is IC acid, is replaced by the word of aldehyde in all these four compounds. The ending name has aldehyde words. Now another point, that is the position of the group, that is the carbon chain. If carbon chain is attached with terminal aldehydic group, that is the C double bond OH, the carbon which is adjacent right exact to this carbonyl group, this carbon is named as alpha carbon. The other carbon has the name is beta carbon. Third one is gamma carbon, and the fourth one is delta carbon. So you will have to memorize that these are the common names which is adjacent to the carbonyl group. The first one name is alpha, beta, gamma and delta. So we can say that the position of other group on the chain, they are indicated by these four Greek letters. Now, these were the common names of aldehyde, but we will see the IUPAC names of aldehyde. The IUPAC name of aldehyde, they are derived from the alkanes. For example, the IUPAC name is exactly derived from the alkane, but in case of common name, the common name of aldehyde is derived from the carboxylic acid. So, in IUPAC name of carboxylic acid, in IUPAC name of aldehyde, they are derived from the name of alkane having the same number of carbon atom. For example, if this compound is alkane, that is methane. For one carbon, the name of alkane is methane, and the ending of the word E is replaced by the word that is Al. So we can say that for IUPAC name of aldehydes, the letter A in the letter E, that is the ending word of alkane, that is the E, is replaced by the word Al. So the name of this compound is methanol. In the same way, if this compound has two carbon, then the alkane name for this compound is ethane. But for aldehyde, the name of E is replaced by the word El, and the other portion of the name remains same. So the name of this compound is ethanol. The third rule of IUPAC name, that is the position of other group on the chain, they are indicated by using the number. The fourth one rule, that is the number start from the carbonyl carbon. It means that this aldehydic carbon always have the number 1. And the last one point of the IUPAC name, and is the most important, that is the aromatic aldehydes, they are not given the IUPAC name. Aromatic aldehydes mean the any aldehyde which contain benzene ring in them. So the aromatic aldehydes don't give the IUPAC name. These are the some examples of aldehydic compound, that is the IUPAC name. If carbon is 1, then the IUPAC name is methanol. In the same way, ethanol. If the compound has 3 carbon, then the name is propanol. And if any other group is present in this compound, then always start the numbering from carbonyl end, that is the number 1, and this compound and this carbon has number 2. The substituent is attached, that is at position number 2. So the name of this compound is 2-chloro because this group is present at carbon number 2. So the position of this group should be indicated by the letter 2. So the name of this compound is 2-chloro, and this compound has 4 carbon. So the 4 carbon name is ending with the word that is Al. So the final name of this compound is 2-chlorobutanol. And the last one, that is the aromatic aldehyde, and the aromatic aldehyde has the name is benzaldehyde. Now, as we have seen the common name of aldehyde, in the same way we can discuss the common names of ketone, and the common name of ketone, they are also obtained by the separately writing the name of alkyl group attached to the carbonyl carbon. The word ketone is then added as a separate word. In the same way, like we have seen it in the common name of aldehyde, the ending of the common name is replaced with the word of aldehyde. The ketone will also follow the same pattern. So we can say that the name of the alkyl group, they are written alphabetically. You will see the name of this compound, that is known as if this compound is contain 2 carbon. So the 2 carbon has name dimethyl, and the C double bond O has the name is ketone. So the final name of this compound is known as the dimethyl ketone. And another name which are used nowadays, that is another name for this compound is also known as the acetone. And other compound has ethyl methyl ketone. So these are the another group. When the two alkyl group are same, for example in this compound you can see that this compound have same two alkyl group, that is the methyl group, then the prefix which we can say that the word which is used for early or at start. So the prefix di is added before the name of the alkyl group. So the name of this compound is dimethyl ketone. The position of other group, they are indicated by the Greek letter, in case of aldehyde you have seen that the position is described by the different type of word, that is alpha, beta, gamma and delta. In the same way you can also name the different type of carbon which is indicated by the Greek letter, that is alpha, which is adjacent to the carbonyl group. And if the two alkyl group in ketone are same, then the ketone is said to be symmetrical. Like this ketone, for example, this carbonyl group has contained from its left side and right side have the same alkyl group, that is the one carbon, and it from this side it also contain the one carbon. So this compound is symmetrical ketone. And if you have seen this compound, then this compound has two different ending, that is the methyl as well as the ethyl. It means at right side and left side you can see that this compound has contained one methyl end and the other end has an ethyl end. You have seen the IUPAC name of an aldehyde, in the same way you can also see the IUPAC name of the ketone, and they will also follow the same pattern of aldehyde. Ketone will also name is derived from the IUPAC name of ketone, they are derived from the name of alkane having the same number of carbon atom. It mean in case of aldehyde, you have seen that, sorry students for disturbance. In case of IUPAC name of ketone, the letter E in the name of alkane is replaced with the suffix. Suffix mean the end. It means the word which is used at the end of your letter is known as the suffix. So, like in case of aldehyde, the ending word is replaced by the word al, but in case of ketone, the letter e in the name of alkane, that is e, is replaced by the word one, that is o and e. The position of the carbonyl group and of other group on the chain, they are indicated by the numbers. Numbering is always started from that end which is nearest to the carbonyl group. It means in case of aldehyde group is always attached at terminal position, while in case of ketone, the carbonyl group will be sandwiched between different types of alkyl groups. So we can say that numbering we always start from that end which is nearest to the carbonyl group. And also ketone follow the same pattern, that aromatic ketone, they are not given any IUPAC name. Like you have seen different type of example for ketonic IUPAC name, that is the name of this compound is 2-propanone. And why this compound is known as 2-propanone? Because you can numbering from this end or from this end, from both these end, this carbonyl group will get two carbon, so two position. So this compound is ending with the word that is o and e. It means the three carbon name for alkane is propane, and for ketone the name of this compound is known as the 2-propanone. Like in the same way, now in this case the numbering will be start from this end, but the numbering will not started from this end, because if you number from this end, then this carbonyl group will get the number 3, which is away from the carbonyl end. But if you follow the numbering from this end, then the carbonyl group will get the number 2. So we can say that the name of this compound is known as the 2-butanone. Like at the end of this group, it is known as the acetophenone. Now you will see the different type of reactivity of carbonyl group, and the reactivity of carbonyl group will be discussed here. That you can see that in case of carbonyl group, the carbon is double bonded. Carbon make a double bond with oxygen atom. So in case of double bond, one bond will be a sigma bond and other bond will be a pi bond, and pi bond is formed by the sidewise overlapping of a p orbital. So we can say that in case of a carbonyl group, there are two types of bond which exist between them. One is known as the sigma bond and other bond is known as the pi bond. So most reagent will react with the carbonyl group by adding to this carbonyl group, as oxygen is more electronegative. You can see that oxygen is the electronegative element of the periodic table. It means that it has a tendency to attract the pi electron toward itself. It means if the bond is developed between these two atoms, then oxygen being more electronegative, it can attract the whole electron density toward itself, and this attraction make the carbonyl group is a polar group. And as a result of this polarity, the carbon will get a partial positive charge while the oxygen will carry a partial negative charge. And the partial positive character of any carbonyl carbon will have show its tendency toward electrophilic nature. And the partial positive character will be discussed in terms of electrophilicity for this carbonyl group. Now you can see the different nucleophilic addition reactions of aldehydes and ketones as a result of the unsymmetrical electronic distribution about the carbonyl group. The nucleophilic reagent can start the initial attack on the carbon atom. It appears that whether the initial attack is to be by a nucleophilic reagent or by an electrophilic reagent, it depends upon a particular reaction and it upon the condition under which the reaction is carried out. So the most important point for this reaction is that the reaction of the carbonyl group will be considered to be nucleophilic addition reaction. Now you will see the most important reactions of carbonyl group, and the reaction of carbonyl group will be take place either by base catalyzed addition reaction or by an acid catalyzed addition reaction. So, in your exam, if the question comes to your paper that write down the difference between the base catalyzed addition reaction and acid catalyzed addition reaction for carbonyl compound, then you will have to write the different type of differences between them. So, I will advise you that you will follow you can note down these points in your textbook for making the difference between these two types of reaction. So, before understanding the theory of this reaction, I will show you some type of reaction here. These are the example of different type of reaction for acid catalyzed and base catalyzed reaction. So in case of base catalyzed mean we are going to use the different type of base like potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide, and the function of base, always remember that it can abstract the proton. It mean the base, and what is the definition of base? The function of base is the abstraction of proton from any reagent. So the reagent which we can use in reaction, that is the bond of nucleophile with any hydrogen atom, it can play its role as a reagent. So the function of base, always remember student, that is the function of base is the abstraction of proton. It means the base always take a proton from this reagent. So when we can use the base always abstract the proton. So at the end of this reaction, you can see that this base will react with H positive ion and form water molecule, while the nucleophile will generate in its free form, that is it nucleophilic character will be increases. But in case of acid catalyzed addition reaction, the carbonyl group always take a proton from any acid. You can define the acid, that acid are those species which provide H positive ion. So from acid catalyzed a nucleophilic addition reaction of carbonyl group, acid always provide its proton, and this proton will always substituted with electronegative oxygen center. So this electronegative oxygen center will develop a bond with this oxygen atom. As a result, now this oxygen will develop two bonds, so the three bonds. As a result, it will get a positive charge to fulfill its positive deficiency. This whole bond will shift it toward this oxygen, and as a result, this species will be converted in this form. So after the acid catalyzed addition reaction, you can see that at the first step of this reaction, the electrophilic nature of this carbonyl carbon will be increases. So student, you will have to clearly notice this picture, that after acid catalyzed addition reaction, this carbonyl carbon will form three bond, and when any carbon will make three bond, then the carbon will get a partial positive charge, and the partial positive charge of this carbon will represent its electrophilic nature of carbonyl group. So after the addition of acid catalyzed addition reaction, the electrophilic character of this carbonyl carbon will increases. But in case of base catalyzed addition reaction, the nucleophilic character of the reagent will be increases. At the end of this reaction, in this step, I have shown you only first step, but I didn't show you the complete step. And when you will see the whole discussion, then you can see that the final product after the acid and the base catalyze, the adduct which is basically represent the intermediate, will be same in case of acid catalyzed or base catalyzed addition reaction. But for base catalyzed addition reaction, you have seen that the nucleophilic character mean the negative charges of this nucleophile will be increases. So we can say that the nucleophilic character of nucleophile will increases. But in case of acid catalyzed addition reaction, the electrophilic character of this carbonyl carbon, not a reagent, but in this case of electrophilic nature of carbonyl carbon will be increases. So now we are going back toward the slide, that in case of a base catalyzed addition reaction, a base catalyzed reaction, nucleophilic addition will take place with a strong nucleophilic reagent, that you have seen that in this केस के अंदर क्या हुआ था कि न्यूक्लियोफिलिक करैक्टर जो है वो उसका इंक्रीज हो गया था, while in case of acid catalyzed nucleophilic addition reaction will take place with a weak nucleophilic reagent. The second one is the base react with the reagent and generate the nucleophile. Like in this case, the base react with reagent and will create a nucleophile. The addition is initiated by the proton. Like you have seen that the addition is initiated by the proton liberated by the acid, and the proton will combine with the carbonyl oxygen atom and increase the electrophilic character of the carbonyl carbon. That you have seen that in this example, that this proton is liberated by any acid, and this proton will develop a bond with carbonyl carbon oxygen atom. So after the addition and the movement of this double bond toward this oxygen side, then the electrophilic character of this carbonyl carbon will be increases. But in this case, the addition is initiated by the attack of a nucleophile on the electrophilic carbon of the carbonyl group. A point student will be discussed later on. But if the differences come in your paper, then you will have to write most important point, that is point number 2 and point number 4. That in case of a base catalyst increases the nucleophilic character of the reagent, that you have seen here, that the nucleophilic character of this nucleophile will be increases. As a result, the attack of the weaker nucleophile on the electrophilic carbon become easier. Hopefully that this point will be clear to all of you. And in the reaction of aldehyde and ketone, the negative part of the reagent combine with the electrophilic carbon of the carbonyl group, whereas the positive part, which is usually hydrogen, goes to the oxygen atom, and the nucleophilic addition reaction of carbonyl group are catalyzed by both acid or the base. And the most important point, that whether the addition is base catalyzed or acid catalyzed, the adduct, that is the final intermediate, will be the same. But you have seen the most important point, that a base catalyst will increases the nucleophilic character of the reagent, while an acid catalyst promote the nucleophilic attack by increasing the positive character of the carbonyl carbon atom. Here is the general mechanism for the nucleophilic addition, that in this reaction, the nucleophile will, that is the base, first react. uh, these are the nucleophilic addition reaction which is catalyzed by any base, not by an acid. So you will seen here the nucleophilic addition reaction which is catalyzed by any base. So in the first step, that any base will react with a reagent, and it will abstract the proton from nucleophile, and the nucleophilic character of this nucleophile will increases, and the increasing nucleophilic character of nucleophile then will attack on a carbonyl carbon. And after the attack on carbonyl carbon, why this nucleophile will attack on this carbonyl carbon? Because this carbonyl carbon is an electron deficient due to the presence of partial positive character, which is developed due to the polarity between these two atoms. So this nucleophile will make a bond with this carbon like in this state, but this double bond will be shifted here. As a result, this oxygen will carry a partial negative, sorry, this oxygen will carry a negative character. At the end of the third step, this negative oxygen will get or take the proton toward itself, and the OH negative ion will again release. So at the end of this reaction, the concentration of base will not decrease, and it's play its role as a catalyst. So the final adduct, here is the adduct. The adduct will be same. Now, dear student, you will see the addition of hydrogen cyanide, and in the previous step, you have seen the mechanism for hydrogen cyanide, and if this nucleophile will be Cn negative ion, then the whole mechanism will follow the same pattern. So, in case of hydrogen cyanide, which the reaction will take place in the presence of two types of compound, that is sodium cyanide as well as HCl. Then this reaction is take place with the presence of three types of compound. In the whole chapter, you will see the different types of reaction of carbonyl compound. First one is formaldehyde, other one is acetaldehyde, and third one is acetone. Formaldehyde and acetaldehyde will represent the class of aldehyde, while acetone will represent the class of ketone. So first memorize three types of compound structures and their name, and their reaction with HCN in the presence of sodium cyanide and HCl. The product is derived from this reaction formaldehyde. The product is known as formaldehyde cyanohydrin. इसी तरह the second one product is formed by acetaldehyde, that is acetaldehyde cyanohydrin, and the third one product is acetone cyanohydrin, and the reaction is carried out by adding slowly a mineral acid. What is mineral acid? That is ACL, which is added to an aqueous solution of sodium cyanide, and thus the HCN will be generated in situ. In situ mean the product or the any type of reaction which is created during the reaction processing. So the type of reaction in which the different type of reagent is created inside the reaction, that is known as the in situ. The cyano group, the property of this cyano group, it can be hydrolyzed by an aqueous acid into a carboxylic acid, like in this case. And if the compound is acetaldehyde cyanohydrin, and it hydrolysis can be performed in the presence of sulfuric acid, then this cyanide group will be converted into COOH group, and it is the important step that any species which contains cyanide group, then the cyanide group can be hydrolyzed and it will be converted into COOH group, that is known as the and if the compound is 2-hydroxypropanoic acid, and the common name for this compound is lactic acid, which exists in milk. So acetaldehyde cyanohydrin can be hydrolyzed in the presence of an acid and is converted into lactic acid. So the reaction is used in the synthesis of alpha hydroxy acid. Why it is known as alpha hydroxy acid? Because the COOH group is attached with carbon which has alpha carbon, and the OH group is known as attached with any alpha carbon. So it is known as the alpha hydroxy acid that contain one carbon atom more than the number of the carbon atom in the starting of aldehyde and ketone. So if you have seen the reaction here, you can see that the start of this reaction will contain two carbon, but at the end of this reaction you will see here the three carbon atom. So the final compound will contain one carbon atom more than the number of carbon atom which is used in the start of aldehyde or ketone. Now you can see the mechanism of this reaction. The mechanism of this reaction will follow the nucleophilic attack by the negatively charged carbon of the cyanidine. It means the cyanide group, that is C triple bond N. The carbon will carry a negative charge, that is C negative. Carbon will play its role as a nucleophilic center. So this nucleophilic center will directly attack to any carbonyl carbon, and this double bond oxygen will be moved toward the electronegative oxygen atom. As a result, the conjugate base of cyanohydrin will be developed, and a source of cyanidine such as sodium cyanide or potassium cyanide is used, and the mechanism of this reaction you can see here. In the next step of this mechanism, this oxygen is more electronegative, and again the hydrogen cyanide, that is the proton, will be attracted by this oxygen atom, and this whole bond will be shifted here. As a result, cyanidine again generated, which in turn react with more carbonyl compound. As a result, the reaction is proceed until the consumption of carbonyl compound will take place. So this is the completion of your lecture. Student, always memorize that, always mark your attendance in the YouTube comment section. And the second point is that you will have to practice the mechanism until you will do the practice of this lecture, or you can write the lecture by learning or by memorizing, and you will have to write your lecture at least 2 to 3 times. Then you can expert in writing the lecture, and you can understand the whole lecture easily. Okay, dear student, take care and Allah Hafiz.